Good evening. My name is Chris Nance, and I'm the Vice President of Construction and Inclusive Talent Initiatives at the Greater Cleveland Partnership. We're delighted to have students, CMSD students joining us to learn a bit about the world of work, and specifically the world of work in construction at Metro Hospital. We're delighted to have Karen Detloff with us this evening, along with Margaret Hewitt, and they are going to go into a little more detail about who they are and what they do at Metro, and how you, as a rising senior or as an actual senior at the CMSD school that you attend, can get connected to the world of work at Metro Hospital. So as I'm going to share a few slides, and then I am going to then introduce Karen and Margaret. All right, just want to double check. Can you see my screen? Okay,
yes.
Terrific. As I mentioned, this is our presentation this evening from about Metro Hospital. If I could, I have this in presentation mode. Is this going to forward for me? Just a second. Pardon me 1 second. Okay, now let's try that again. Here we go. As I mentioned, the event is being recorded. We appreciate you keeping putting your screen on if you'd like to have your, or rather, by doing so, you're granting permission for us to share your recording. A couple of basic ground rules. Muting your function microphone when you're not speaking, using the chat function for questions. We also appreciate the chance to engage questions as we go forward. The Student Workforce Advancement Group, otherwise known as SWAG, has been moving forward now for the last couple of years, and it's designed, as the students know, to create an opportunity for you to learn about working opportunities in in-demand sectors, in-demand careers throughout the Northeast Ohio area. There's a whole curriculum that the students have been actively engaged in that includes self-assessment, career exposure, and a session like tonight, which is focused on actively engaging with employers. So with that, I am going to unshare my screen and then turn things over to Karen and Margaret to move forward with our presentation on Metro Hospital. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Margaret.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. My name is Karen Detloff, and I'll start the program off here. We're going to be talking about non-clinical careers and construction careers at MetroHealth Medical Center. I think I might have got that out of alignment, but I'll be talking first about non-clinical careers at MetroHealth Medical Center. I am the Vice President for Facilities Management and have been with MetroHealth for 15 years now. In addition to graduating from Collinwood High School in Cleveland, I've gotten my Bachelor's of Science from The Ohio State University, a master's degree in electrical engineering from Cleveland State University, and my master's in business administration from Case Western Reserve University. I'm a certified healthcare facility manager with the American Hospital Association and a fellow in the American Society for Healthcare Engineering. And as the VP of Facilities Management, I'm responsible for ensuring that the buildings and their infrastructure are safe, functional, and reliable, and compliant with all the codes and standards that hospitals need to follow. That basically includes the building envelope, which includes the roofs, the exterior walls, the windows, the doors, the foundation, and all the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection systems within the building, except for information services or IT, which is a whole separate department in the hospital.
Wow. So in other words, Karen, you have swag.
Yes. And I'll let Margaret introduce herself. Margaret, you're muted.
See, I followed instructions and muted myself when I wasn't speaking. I am Director of Planning, Design, and Construction at MetroHealth. And so I've been at MetroHealth now for nearly 2 years, but I've been working in the construction industry for 30 plus years. Little personal information. I am not from Ohio. I am from Southern Illinois, small town across the Mississippi River from St. Louis, Missouri, by the name of East St. Louis, Illinois. Currently, the population is about 30,000 people. So when I say small compared to Cleveland, it's small. I graduated from the University of Illinois, and I did do some graduate work at Case Western Reserve University. My training is I have a high school diploma from John Burroughs School in St. Louis, a bachelor's of science in architectural studies, and I took business courses at Case. I also have an OSHA 30, which is a safety certification for construction. I have an ICRA certification, which is for construction in hospital environments, and project management training. So my job is I manage a team of designers and construction experts to do construction projects in the hospital and other buildings that we own at MetroHealth. As a matter of fact, Karen is one of my clients. So when she has a construction project, she wants something done. Hey, Margaret, I need you to put in a new elevator. I go and put in a new elevator for her.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
So today we'll start off with our facilities management topics, and we're going to look at a little bit at the MetroHealth system, some careers at MetroHealth, specifically some careers in facilities management and the educational requirements for those careers, and some of the traits that MetroHealth system looks for when it's looking to hire employees. And then we can answer any questions at the end. So in the first place, we were asked, what is the mission of our organizations? And although our job is to take care of the ill and the injured, we are increasingly focused on preventative care and fulfilling our mission of leading the way to a healthier you and a healthier community through service, teaching, discovery, and teamwork. Our vision is to be the most admired public health system in the nation, renowned for our innovation, outcomes, service, and financial strength. And our goal has always been to treat patients like family with the respect and dignity they deserve. And the why is very important. People think that their health decisions are made by their heredity and the genes that they've inherited from their parents and grandparents. That's only one component. You are 4 times more affected by your social, economic, and environmental factors than you are by your genes and your history. And therefore, MetroHealth is very much involved in community efforts to address socioeconomic and lifestyle factors, leading to better physical and mental health for everyone in our community.
I would like to add that.
Please, go right ahead, Margaret.
I would like to add that MetroHealth is believed to be the oldest public healthcare system in the United States. It is 183 years old, so it is the oldest healthcare system definitely in Northeast Ohio, but it's also believed to be one of the oldest in the United States, the oldest public healthcare system.
Yeah, and thank you, Margaret, so much for making that point. Can both of you just quickly address the difference between Metro as a public hospital and Cleveland Clinic and University Hospital as private? Can you just quickly help our students understand a little bit of the difference between a public and a private hospital system?
Well, there's a couple of differences. Among those are we serve anybody that comes into our door and take care of them, regardless of their ability to pay. And I haven't heard the number lately, but historically, I know that we've given over $150 million worth of free care to people in the greater Cleveland area. In addition to that, we also have certain rules that we need to follow that are different from private institutions. We need to publicly bid anything that we purchase over $50,000 unless we buy things through a group purchasing organization. let's see.
Yeah. We are chartered by the state of Ohio
Mhm.
to care and service certain communities. It started with Cuyahoga County, and that was the only community we were chartered to serve. And approximately 3 years ago, that charter was expanded to perfect timing to 8 additional counties, being Geauga, Lake, Lorain, Medina, Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne. And so that's one of the big differences. The Cleveland Clinic and University Hospitals can serve any community they choose to serve, where we are chartered by the state of Ohio to serve various communities. And that also comes with some of the regulations that Karen was speaking about, as well as truly our status and commitment to serving these communities comes with that charter.
Terrific. Thank you both. Karen, please proceed.
Okay, so a little bit about the size of the system. Our buildings total 5.5 million square feet. That includes 4 hospitals, 3 ambulatory surgery centers, 3 freestanding emergency departments, and over 30 medical or office buildings. And we have a staff of over 8,000 employees. What this means to the students who might want to work at MetroHealth is you can either work in a large hospital like MetroHealth Medical Center, which is about 2.5 million square feet, or you can work in a small office building with a smaller group of people, whatever you're interested in most working with. Another thing to note about MetroHealth is we've recently received magnet certification for the 4th time in a row, which is highly unusual for public hospitals. Magnet certification is a certification of nursing excellence and is only awarded after a rigorous application process and review by a committee of that interviews our nurses as well as other people that work in the hospital to make sure that we have a high quality nursing program, that we do nursing research, and that we provide the very best care in the area. So at MetroHealth, even though healthcare is our primary business, and doctors and nurses are in the majority of the population, there's a lot of other non-clinical industries that work in hospitals that support hospital operations. Some of those include people in supply chain that might work in purchasing or materials management or the distribution of supplies within the hospital. And we've got human resources professionals, lab and pathology technicians, accountants, office support, environmental services, and of course, facilities management. In facilities management, there are several different levels that I'll talk about tonight. The first one being an entry-level position, might include people that are grounds workers, office workers, or helpers. Semi-skilled people who would be someone like a maintenance mechanic who has some mechanical and electrical background and experience and might do light maintenance work in the hospital. And then we have a number of skilled trades positions that work in the hospital to keep everything running and maintained in tip-top order. These might include electricians, carpenters, electronics technicians, HVAC technicians, HVAC being heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, locksmiths, painters, and plumbers, or something called a licensed stationary engineer, and they are responsible for running our high-pressure boilers that heat the hot water in the hospital and heat the buildings. In addition to that, there are professional and management positions with managers, assistant directors, or directors who oversee the operation and maintain a lot of the records that we're required to keep. So in particular, the entry-level positions start at $16.97 an hour, which nets out at a little over $35,000 annually. The semi-skilled positions start at about $22.63 an hour, or $47,000 annually. The skilled trades positions start at about $25.92, and that is almost $54,000 annually. And then an entry-level position as a manager, the starting rate is $33.60 an hour, or almost $70,000 a year. In order to qualify for these positions, there's a varying degrees of education that'll be required. Entry-level positions generally require a high school diploma. The semi-skilled positions will require a high school diploma plus experience. The skilled trades positions require attendance at a trade school and a journeyman certification that would be issued by the state of Ohio. And those trade schools are generally 4-year programs that include classroom education, as well as on-the-job training and experience. And then professional or management can be 2 different tracks to get into this level of position, either through through work as a skilled trades person with some additional college or associate's degree training or class work in management. Or you can go to school a little longer and have an associate's, bachelor's, or a master's degree and come into the profession from that vantage point. And then for some of the skilled trades positions in the hospital, we do have apprenticeship programs. Right now we have apprenticeship positions for electricians and licensed stationary engineers. Other organizations may have skilled apprenticeship programs in some of the other skilled trades. We were asked to talk about the different traits that we would look for in employees that we would hire. And what we have at MetroHealth is something called our STAR IQ values. And all of the staff at MetroHealth are evaluated on these values every year by our managers. The first one is service to others. And we're always striving to meet the needs of our patients and serve our community and the patients with compassion. And we provide this service without regard of the ability to pay. Teamwork is an absolute core value that we have at the hospital. You can't run a big organization like this without teamwork and everybody pulling together to achieve the goals and objectives we have every year. So that's an incredibly important value. We're all very accountable. We're held, we accept our responsibilities for the decisions we make and the outcomes achieved and for our personal behavior. Respect is another very highly regarded value. We treat everyone with dignity, candor, compassion, and empathy. The first part of our IQ, I is the inclusion and diversity component. And we foster a community where differences are celebrated and everyone has the opportunity to be part of our success. And our last value is quest for excellence. We exemplify the highest standards of patient-centered care and continue to improve through discovery and innovation. And many of us take additional courses every year to keep our certifications current and to be on the cutting edge of innovation in our businesses. So with that, I will turn it over to Margaret.
So one of the things that...
And Margaret, just before you jump in, I just wanted to, you covered, and Karen, you covered a number of really important things. When it comes to those entry-level jobs, the previous slide, in terms of the starting salaries, if someone is interested, some of our students attending this evening and looking at this video later on, how do they apply for jobs at Metro Hospital for one of these jobs in the facilities areas or some of the areas that you've mentioned here on this slide?
Okay. Whenever we have an opening, our Human Resources Department posts those positions on websites. I'm trying to think.
You can go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of those websites.
LinkedIn has them, and what's the other one that everybody uses? Indeed, I believe.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Terrific. And if you wouldn't mind, Karen, as Margaret, and Margaret, please go ahead and continue. If you wouldn't mind putting your email address in the chat function, I'm going to do the same as well in case any of the students looking at the video would like to touch base with us directly.
The other thing people can do is go on our website at metrohealth.org, and there is an HR function on that homepage, and you can click on that link and look for any openings that might be at the organization directly there.
Okay, terrific. I'll add that in the chat. Thank you.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
Margaret, go right ahead. Thanks.
Okay. So one of the things that I want to follow up with is Karen went through the STAR IQ values. And if you notice, it talks a lot about the patients and it talks a lot about healthcare, but we're here talking about construction and facilities. One of the things that we believe at MetroHealth is that what we do is a service that follows all the way through to those patients and healthcare providers. Our jobs are to make certain they have warm, safe, dry buildings to operate in, that people feel comfortable when they come into those buildings, and that's the design portion of that, and that all of the construction and all of the maintenance and operations of the facilities is done at a standard and at a level that we can assure the safety of everyone in those buildings. So sometimes when you look at those values, you go, how does that relate to what you all do? That's disconnected. You're not a nurse, you're not a doctor. But it still is very much connected to what we do, because we support all of them through the work that we do. We are a service for them. So in my world, as we talked about before, I have a team of project managers, and my team manages architects and contractors, construction companies. And so I wanted to talk about, in general, the construction industry. First, let me say the construction industry needs you. It needs you now. We are aging out, people are retiring, and we need young people to come into the construction industry. So to entice you and enhance you, I've listed the top 10 high-paying jobs in the construction industry. Karen's talked about them. We are hiring people for some of these positions at MetroHealth. So carpentry is one of those. $48,000 a year coming into the carpentry industry. And one of the, as you see, I did an annual salary as well as the hourly rate, but a monthly salary. A lot of us live a life in which we pay our bills monthly, so it's nice to know what comes in monthly. So you can see equipment operation, sheet metal work. Sheet metal work, they do the duct work in buildings. Your air, your hot and cold air comes through duct work. Sheet metal workers do a lot of that work. Iron work are the people who do the steel for the construction of a building. Plumbing is a plumber, as we would think. Pipe fitting works on some of those boilers, or with the boilers that Karen talked about, and steam fitting in that area as well. Electrical are the electricians who work with the lighting and the outlets and many other things. And then inspecting. One of the things we don't promote a lot of times is all construction work needs to be inspected to make certain it's done properly. So you have people in the field who do those inspections. They learn about construction. They're usually tradespeople who move into this area, and then Boilermakers. As you can see from the salaries here, we're talking about anywhere from $4,000 a month to close to $5,500 a month in terms of salaries. So you can make a very good living in the construction industry without a college degree. And it's not something that many people talk about, but it's something that is very real and happening every day. So we want to invite you to join us. Next slide. So how do you prepare for the things that we've been talking about and the opportunities? Some of the things you can do right now while you're still in high school is work with Cuyahoga Community College and the Construction Employers Association to get OSHA 30 safety training. Remember, I said I was OSHA 30 certified. This is a safety training, and it takes 30 hours to get this. That's why it's called OSHA 30. And it's Occupational Safety and Health Association. Is that OSHA? See, I should have known that before. What OSHA, the acronym?
Safety and Health Administration.
Yes, thank you. I tried to wing it, it didn't work. And it takes 30 hours, so it takes several days to get this training, but they teach you about everything in construction and how to make certain you and your fellow workers or occupants of the building are safe during construction. There are a lot of things, a lot of ways to get injured on a construction site. So if you go after this training, you have shown an employer before they even hire you that you are making the effort to ensure that you are safe and your coworkers would be safe. Blueprint reading. Blueprints are the documents that are used for construction. Any construction project has to have instructions to tell everyone what to do and how to do it. And so if you take a blueprint reading class from Tri-C, which you could take today, and you walk in the door saying, I already know how to read blueprints. Here's my, grades, my course, approval from Tri-C that I already know how to do that. Once again, you're showing I'm putting myself ahead of the game. I'm showing you my interest. I'm learning the things that I know I will have to learn on the job. Building information technology is a computer software, kind of like a video game when you see it, except it's all about buildings. If you've done SimCity, it's very similar to that, but it takes those blueprints and turns them into three-dimensional drawings. If you are familiar with that and you know how to see that information and understand that information, once again, it gives you an advantage. You can take those classes at any time. Construction project management. You can become certified in project management through courses at Tri-C. Once again, now, you do not have to work for an employer. You can take the classes while in high school or after high school. And then construction engineering technology. That is actually the name of the program at Tri-C. They have you can get an associate's degree. You can take, one of the great things about Tri-C is you can take just one course that you're interested in, or you can pursue a degree and continue on to a 4-year college if you like. So where do you start? Okay, so we've talked about the opportunities at MetroHealth. We've talked about some things you can do education-wise to advance yourself, to put yourself in the best competitive position. And as Karen mentioned, you enter through internships, apprentice positions, laborer positions, helper positions. So when you see those words, those are the jobs that are entry level. And so they would love to have young people right out of high school pursuing those positions, because then they know you are eager, you are interested, the industry is looking for younger people, and you are looking to move up the ladder and make more and more money. You see these terms often in the trades that I've listed below: carpentry, landscaping, painting, flooring, masonry. Masonry are bricklayers. Concrete guys are called masons, and roofing. So if you go through, we used to call them one ads. You go through job ads now. I took you all way back when I said one ads, didn't I? So you look through job placement ads and you see a carpentry helper. That's an entry position, right? So you don't have to have 10 years experience as a carpenter. That's just the language for the industry. And so when you see a roofing apprentice, that's an entry-level position. And that's why I wanted to explain that here, because sometimes you see those terms and you think the experience level is much higher than what you may have. And I wanted to be clear that it's not. Those are entry-level positions. Okay, so how do you know if the construction industry is right for you? Karen and I are a couple of construction geeks, right? We love it. We love facilities. We love construction. You ought to see the two of us when we're talking sometime. We'll start talking about window replacement at one of our buildings, and we'll just talk, well, what kind of windows we want? Well, how do we want the windows? The windows have to be thermal pane. They have to blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking so fast because that's basically how we do it. So, but we know we love it. And we've been doing it for a long time and can't imagine doing anything else. But if you haven't considered it yet, let's look at how you might think it's right for you. So one of the things we have the pleasure of doing is saying, I helped build that. Both of us have a long list of buildings that we can say, I helped build that. I helped manage that. I've maintained that. I've taken care of that. You need to be practical, detail oriented. If you find yourself paying attention to the instructions and you follow every detail of the instructions, that means you have an inclination for what we do. If you get bored doing one thing at a time, everything we do has a beginning and an end. Sometimes it starts over again, but that's still a beginning and an end. It doesn't lag for 10, 15, 20 years. Sometimes we do projects and they're done in 2 weeks, and then we move on to the next. If you like solving problems, it is totally a solving problem business. We, even though you're doing the same thing sometimes for a project, it's not the same because it's in a different location, it's with different people, it's in a different building, or sometimes different materials. And working with people and being part of a team, we can't do it by ourselves. We have to do it with a team. So teamwork is essential in what we do. Deadlines. Once again, I say everything has a beginning, everything has an end. So if you're motivated by deadlines, you like getting it done, you like checking it off the list, you're one of us. And then if you're adaptable and flexible, often we have to think on our feet. You do something and it turns out, somebody didn't measure that right. We're shy 1/8 of an inch, but 1/8 of an inch is critical. How do we address that? And we need to get this done. So you have to adapt, you have to adjust, or it's a snowstorm. Karen was adapting and adjusting all day yesterday. It was a snowstorm. Power was going out, blinking, doing different things all over the city. And so she had to adjust to that on the fly, right there. What do we do? Figure it out, because there's still people coming to the hospital. So one of the things we have for you is a quiz. It won't be graded, but it just asks a few questions. So, and it gives you an indicator as to whether or not the construction industry may be something for you. And so here is the website. It's long, long, long. The fortunate thing is you only type it in once and you are there. You'll have a copy of this presentation, so you can freeze it here and type that in. But it's just about a 10, 15 question quiz. And at the end, it says, hey, this might be something you're interested in. And so if it says that, then come and join us. We'd love to have you join us. As I said, Karen and I are a couple of construction geeks, and we love this industry. We think it serves the world. So thank you for your time, and what questions might you have?
Great. If you could open up the screen, that would be terrific. Margaret and Karen, thank you. This has been such an exciting conversation. You know, I started thinking as you both were presenting, I'm like, you know, I wonder if I'm too old to do that. I had so much fun serving as my own general contractor, rehabbing a family home. Before I knew it, I was in the construction business. I had to find an electrician, I had to find a plumber, I had to find a painter, I had to figure out how the workers were going to get there on time. I had to figure out who needed to be paid in cash and who I could write a check to. So you reminded me of all of that. So thank you for sharing your enthusiasm and passion for the work that you do. Francis, I'd like to ask you if you might unmute your line and share any questions. You've heard a lot of great info. What thoughts, reactions, questions for our presenters tonight?
I don't know if I got a question, but like what I see is a really interesting careers that you can, do after high school. And yeah, I gotta see they are good though. They are good careers. What I was seeing, and it's true though. You gotta be can't remember the slide. It was one slide. It was talking about, what it takes to get there. The things you need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Showing up on time, showing up with the right attitude. Yeah.
Really true. You need to have a good attitude to, start these type of careers.
Yes. Yes. If you show up and say, I'm interested in this and I want to do this, there are so many people in our industry who love it. I mean, love it, and will welcome you and teach you and mentor you. It is, it's like some other things. It's not for everyone. Everyone is not going to love the construction industry, but those that do are really crazy about it. So if you think you're interested, join us.
Mhm.
Damn.
There's building it, and then there's keeping it safe and functional and making sure that the environment is proper for the staff that are working in the building,
Yeah.
so that they can take care of the patients and get them well as quickly as possible.
Right.
Mhm.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, I also really appreciated a particular comment, Margaret, that you made about both of your experience in having and taking great pride in knowing that you had a hand in building something,
Mhm.
a number of things over time, and whether it's Francis who asked, who shared a little bit a few moments ago, or other students that are watching this. Um, Professional jobs, jobs that work in the office, sometimes it's hard to see the results of your work. And I think what I heard both of you say over and over again, whether it's fixing a window or building a building, right? There's a
Mhm.
there's a start and there's a finish, right? There's a cause and there's an effect.
Yes.
And you also clearly said that it's an all hands on deck opportunity, right? At every level, from entry
Yes.
level
Mhm.
to management. These are the kinds of career opportunities that could, uh, something that someone could move through a number of different levels over an extended period of time and move in a lot of different directions and still be in the construction sector.
Yes.
Mhm.
One of the things I admire about what Karen does is that for me, I'll give it a year. You know, I build the building, it's a year, I go away. I Everything I do, I give to Karen. Everything. I don't touch anything and not give it to Karen and her team. And so, but when they get it, well, even I shouldn't say when they get it, when they start with us, because they're always on the team, they start with us. I'm not building anything that Karen says she can't accept. um, but when they get it, they become experts at every nook and cranny of that building. She has people on her team that have been with MetroHealth for years, and you start to talk to them about a building and they will tell you, well, 10 years ago we did this, 15 years ago, well, in 2 years we're going to have to change that out because it'll be out of life. I mean, they know, and you're sitting there going, this is incredible that this person knows so much about the history of this building, and in the future what's going to happen in terms of we'll need to replace all the windows, or we'll need to replace the rooftop units, or we'll need to do this. It is so impressive, and it's because they are there every day building that expertise, right? If you ask me about a building that I've constructed 5 years after I've constructed it, there are many things I wouldn't be able to tell you about the building, but Karen's team can tell you everything about that building. And that's why I attach myself to her. She is my client, and we just, teamwork makes the dream work between Karen and I. But
And you took the words right out of my mouth. Just as we kind of round third and head home, teamwork is a phrase that I've heard you use over and over again, and I'm really oftentimes that's an undervalued skill set. Being a part of a team, especially when things there seems to be more and more emphasis in working as an individual. But as you think and share some final thoughts and comments with our students as we close out this evening's session.
Well, I'll start. As Margaret said, there's a number of jobs that are out there, and people like to say right now that our workforce is graying, and that's true. A lot of the workforce has got very gray hair, and they're getting very close to retiring. I have a number of people that work on my team who are actually at the point where they could retire, but they choose to keep working because they love what they do at MetroHealth, which speaks, I think, volumes of the jobs they do and the team that we've established. There used to be a lot of people going into the building trades. and maintenance trades, and there are not many people going into that now. And it's a really good profession. It's regular work. Oftentimes it's work inside a warm, dry building. And you have an opportunity not only to do a regular job and be paid for that, but you can also do side jobs if you want for friends and family and make additional money depending on how much you really do want to work. And our jobs are also offered on all 3 shifts. I have people that work first, second, and third shifts 24/7, 365, because we have people in the hospital 24/7, 365. It doesn't stop. So we've got to be ready to address anything at any time, day or night. And we do. And people get a great deal of satisfaction being able to say they worked to keep a hospital safe and functional. So thank you.
So to piggyback on that, the facilities management and construction industry is behind a veil, I think sometimes. It's this invisible world that people don't pay attention to. One of the things I often say is a construction fence is Harry Potter's invisible cloak. You put it up and nobody knows what goes on behind it. But there's a lot going on behind it. And then even after the building is done, there are a lot of things that still go on. And I find it very fascinating and very interesting. And there's so many different aspects of it and so many different things that you can do in our industry that I always welcome people who have interest in our industry. It is something more females are in our industry. You have 2 females here, both working at MetroHealth, and we were hired because we are good at what we do. We weren't hired for a quota. Right, MetroHealth is a $1 billion corporation. They're not going to hire us to make it look good. So that lets you know there are opportunities for women and people of color and people at all education levels to work in this industry. It takes interest, effort, and learning. And learning doesn't mean book learning. It's just as you do the job, you learn more and more about what there is to do. So I'm looking forward to hearing about all the people who see this video and this course and take the quiz and find out the construction industry is for you and you join us. Thanks.
Well, Margaret and Karen, thank you for lifting up the shade, if you will, the world of Metro Hospitals construction and facilities management. I want to thank the students that joined us, the students that will learn more about Metro Hospitals construction and facilities management by watching this video. We're thrilled to have you participate in the SWAG program, and we look forward to following up on your questions and look forward to your success in the construction sector or whatever your chosen career is. Have a great evening and look forward to being in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.